Hi, Year 8. It's now lesson 3 of week 3, and we're finishing off the topic of en el restaurante. So this week we've looked at ordering food and drink, lots of food and drink vocab, and we've done some grammar with the difference between tú and usted. Excuse me. So if you can write escribe el título en el restaurante, también escribe la fecha, y luego para empezar, traduce las frases y las palabras. So that's date, title, and then starter. Off you go. You can pause the video here, write down please what these are in the other language. Okay, off you go. Okay, so I have assumed that you paused and then you started up again. We had here some sentences. Quiero unas gambas. Tengo hambre. ¿Qué vas a tomar? Yesterday I ate soup. Tomorrow I'm going to drink lemonade. I would like paella. Now, this brings together the language that we've been learning this week with the vocabulary and the interactions in the restaurant, but it also reminds you that you should now be using, when possible, 3 tenses. So present, preterite, and future. And the last one here, if you've remembered it, is a conditional. So let's have a look and see what you should have. Quiero unas gambas. I want some prawns. Tengo hambre. I'm hungry. ¿Qué vas a tomar? What are you going to have? Yesterday I ate soup. Ayer comí sopa. So the preterite tense of an ER verb, the endings are I, iste, yo, imos, istes, ieron. So it's ayer comí sopa. Tomorrow I'm going to drink lemonade. Mañana voy a beber limonada. So remember the near future tense, you take the present tense of ir, voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, van, plus a, plus the infinitive. Voy a beber. And I would like paella is the conditional, which we have seen. Me gustaría, I would like. Me gustaría una paella. Okay, so hopefully you got those. Now, once you've corrected that, move on to the next slide, please. So I'm moving on to the next slide. You can pause the video and then move on when you're ready. Sorry, it's taking a while to... So I think my internet went down for a second there. So in the restaurant, in el restaurante, this is what we've done all week. Looking at vocab, writing a conversation, looking at tú and usted. And you're going to do 2 activities today, a reading and a writing. So first of all, this is the reading. It should take you about 10 minutes, this, please. So put down leer, because that's the type of skill you're using, leer, and then write down the numbers 1 to 6, uno a 6, and then reading these texts. Let me just move my face out of the way. There you go. Reading these short texts, can you please then answer the questions? Who doesn't want a starter? Who wants soup? Who wants seafood paella for their main course? Who wants lemonade? Who doesn't want a dessert? Who wants ice cream for a dessert? So your answers are all going to be names. And that's all you need to write down. So pause, move on when you're ready. Okay, so I'm assuming you have now moved on and we're going to correct it. Who doesn't want a starter? Now, you should have been able to do that by a process of elimination. Anna says, de primer plato quiero unas gambas, so she's obviously having something. Pablo says, de primer plato quiero una sopa. So it's Juan who doesn't mention, and therefore obviously doesn't want a starter. Who wants soup as a starter? We've just heard it's Pablo. De primer plato quiero una sopa. Who wants seafood paella for their main course? So scan through. Here we can see una paella de mariscos, and that's de segundo plato. There's a main course. He wants seafood paella, and that's Juan. Who wants lemonade? So again, scan through, and here it is. Para beber, quiero agua y una limonada. She's obviously very thirsty. She's having water and a lemonade. Who doesn't want a dessert? Now we can see here we've got de postre quiero un helado, de postre quiero un flan for these two. So it's going to be Anna, who doesn't want a dessert. Who wants ice cream for dessert? It was Juan again. De postre quiero un helado. Okay, so I think all of that vocab should have been familiar, and it's just a case of analysing the text and looking carefully to see where they are saying what they would like to eat or drink, and then checking if it's first course, main course, or pudding or dessert. Okay, so that's taking you a few minutes. So once you've corrected that, if you've got any wrong, then move on. And again, it's taking a long time to move on. Now, what you are going to do now is to write a role play, please, in a restaurant. Now, I've put this one here because this is the one that you use for a listening exercise. And we read it through as well. And you're going to use that as a model. So what I'd like you to do, please, is use the formal you, which is usted. The waiter's doing it here. What are you going to have? ¿Qué va a tomar? Correct use of food items and dishes, please. So, de primer plato, unas gambas, and so on and so forth. Include the bill. So if you've got the la cuenta as mentioned here as well. And use opinions. Now, this is very basic, and you can extend this a little bit. So maybe they can have salad and prawns, or soup and salad or something. Okay, so vary it, get a bit more complexity in there. You've got connectors over here to use as well. Y también, además, pero aunque. And if you can please use, I should have put this on here as well. So let's see if I can. No, I can't do it like that. Hang on a second. Right, let's just bring this up again. So if you use opinions and preterite / future tenses, okay, because that will give you a lot more in terms of complexity and also a higher level. All right. We will be, once you're back in school, we will be doing an assessment, and we do need to be, not for a few weeks, but we will be looking at testing whether you can use the present, the preterite, the near future. You have been taught all of those, and you do need to be able to use them. So practice as often as you can. Okay, so please include those. So maybe saying there is a future in there already, but you could say, for example, well, yesterday I had soup, today I'm going to have salad, that sort of thing. Okay, so it's a role play, so you've got different people speaking, and use this as a model, but extend it. You can do something more complicated. All right, so I'm going to say that should take you about 15 minutes. Once you've done it, please, you need to submit a picture on the assignment, and so you can pause it here and move on. When you're ready to move on, here it is. So hopefully now you have done the writing and you've submitted it. And if my PowerPoint would move forward, here it is. This is just a recap of the objectives. We've looked at vocab about ordering food in a restaurant. We've done the vocab. We've written a conversation. We've done the grammar. And at the end of it, having looked at what you've corrected and where you've had to use red pen, can you please set yourself some targets on how you can improve further? Thank you very much indeed for your work this week, Year 8, and look forward to seeing you back in school. Thank you very much. Hasta la próxima.